Welcome to the wrestling podcast that's not just for wrestling fans. This is Smark Friends on lovewrestling.ca. My name is Zach and I'll be your host. Today I'm speaking with pro wrestler and something of a peer in the content creation circles. We like him a whole bunch here at Love Wrestling, but this is actually the first time we get to have him on some of our content. I am speaking with Big Ben Ortmanns on today's episode of Smark Friends. We talk pro wrestling. Specifically, I was really excited to pick his brain about this one. Very hard-hitting match between himself and Speedball Mike Bailey just a few short weeks ago at IWS. And yeah, it was about as physical as they come. And as I said, I was very excited to talk to him all about that. We're also going to talk about Ben's Twitch channel and the growing community he's building over there. And we are going to talk about his work at Crossbody Pro Wrestling Academy. Ben's a head coach there. They have their first showcase event in quite some time this coming Friday. And what's really cool is it's not just a showcase, it's also a fundraising event for Hacker Scotty O'Shea. We're going to have a great talk about all of that good stuff. But before we get to that, we got to thank the good people who make the content here at Love Wrestling possible. I'm, of course, talking about RK Athletics. If you have fitness goals and you want to start chasing them, then Rich King is the person to start speaking to. If you're in the Edmonton area, there are personal training options available to you. But if you're not, that's okay too, because at rkathletics.ca, you'll find a wealth of online resources to help you start chasing those fitness goals that you want to start pursuing. Reach out at rkathletics.ca or even just drop them a DM on Twitter or Instagram at rkathletics1. Either way, Rich is the person to speak to. We're going to be back with Big Ben Ortmanns right after this message.
Consumerism is quite the satanic majesty, isn't it? Well, we're not shy here at lovewrestling.ca. I'll tell you what. I'll tumble for you. But you know what won't tumble? Your lovewrestling.ca wine tumbler. And where can you get it? I hear you ask. Off camera, I suppose. You can get it right here on lovewrestling.ca/merch. Cheap plug, I know, but it just makes things taste so damn good.
And we are back. Joining me from the neighboring province of Ontario, pro wrestler, Twitch streamer, and coffee enthusiast, Big Ben Ortmanns. How you doing, friend?
I am doing very, very well. I actually got some green tea going as much as I'm a coffee enthusiast because it is the evening. So I just want to make sure. Yeah, I got to, green tea is a natural fat burner. So, I like to keep my slim girlish figure going on here. So it's a nice little nighttime drink. So it's enjoyable.
Good call. I started my day, I did a lot of research going into this podcast. I spent the time at Starbucks, and they got that whole that gimmick with their card. You get free refills for coffee, and I just wanted to stay and keep working, but I felt obligated to just keep refilling my cup, and it just led to this disaster of a headache for the better part of the day.
Wait a sec. What card gets you free refills from Starbucks? Because I know about the point system through the app, but I know nothing about this. Tell me more about this card, because
I know very little.
I study for more free Starbucks if I have to.
I know very little about it. I share the card with my wife, but it's Starbucks Gold, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh.
So there you go.
This sounds fascinating.
I'm going to be tagging Starbucks in the episode description and any social media podcast plugging we do for this particular episode. Yeah, there we go. Let's get some of that sponsorship money.
I'm a Starbucks man. Give me the Starbucks, all of it. You can send Starbucks to my card, benortmanns@gmail.com.
I mean, you already have your Twitch link on your gear. If we worked in the Starbucks siren, could be onto something.
Don't think that I won't, man. Don't think that I won't.
Well, friend, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening on the Smark Friends podcast. You've been a friend to the Love Wrestling Network for some time, and I recently got the chance to experience your work live in the ring at IWS. You wrestled one of my favorite wrestlers, Speedball Mike Bailey, and dude, that match was about as physical as they come. I know we're a few weeks removed, and you've had matches since, but I got to ask if you're still feeling that one.
So. Yes and no. I'm feeling it still, just because I'm in a weird way. I still really haven't come down from that match, just because I've mentioned this in my vlog because the vlog that I just put out with, if anybody's watching this and they're not familiar with my vlog, it's just youtube.com/BigBenIsAngry. And it's vlog number 8. It's called The Biggest Match of My Life, which it was. And I just thought that it was very, very important to kind of tell the story to how we got to the match, first of all. And I also knew that, like, I hadn't vlogged in a little while, just because, like, I was genuinely, I was treating this match like a fighter does, like a fight camp. You know what I mean? Like, I was training very hard for this thing. Like, the opportunity was not lost on me.
Sure.
Like, I've always been that guy kind of through my career where, you know, like, I've wrestled for a really long time, and you probably didn't even know who I was until recently. And it was probably not even because of Speedball. And, you know, that was certainly not by design from my end. But the reality is that I was kind of a utility guy. And, you know, people just kind of brought me in to do 1 or 2 matches and then kind of lose and then not get used again. And it was kind of like a wash, rinse, recycle, repeat kind of thing. And it became kind of stagnant, you know. That's kind of why when I got told by, you know, an Impact Wrestling executive that I wasn't a wrestler, and that he thought that I was more management, that I was like, well, fuck, is he right? You know? And so, like, there was this like resurgence of, you know, my wrestling career right now. It's kind of nuts, just because it really did all spawn from Twitch, if that makes any sense. But you know, I was kind of falling out of love with wrestling, and during the pandemic, I was like angry with wrestling, because all of the speaking out stuff started to come out, and I didn't know who to trust anymore. And like, there was just a lot of people where, like, man, if I was in the same room with them, like, in a weird way, I'm almost kind of happy that happened when it did, where we all had to stay within our homes, just because, like, I know that, for speaking on my behalf, like, I probably would have wound up in jail, dude. Like, I would have been in the same room with some of these people, and I would have handled business. And I know that things would have, I know that it would have been a bad situation. So, like, in a weird way, I'm kind of glad that it happened during that time. But, you know, at the same time, I lost my gym when I was trying to do all of the right things. And I lost, you know, and, like, when all that stuff happened, and you still see other people doing the same things, knowing that they're not doing the same things, it was just a really hard time for me. So I started doing the Twitch stuff, just because I needed to get my mind off of things. And next thing I know, I started just watching wrestling randomly. And then I just started getting people to, like, the stuff that I was watching, I didn't even enjoy. I was just watching it because I just thought that it would be good to watch, if that makes any sense. Nobody was watching.
Like habitual watching.
Yeah. And then I was just kind of like, well, what the fuck does everybody else want to watch? And then, so I just asked, I was like, hey, guys, send me some links. And then that's how this whole thing started. I was just like, guys, give me some links. And then next thing you know, the one night I'm watching wrestling that was just links that people had sent me. And then I was just like, whoa, like, this isn't stuff that I'd normally watch. Like, this is really good. Let's do this again in another night. And then that's when it snowballed, man. Like, people were sending me all this stuff that I'd give it a chance, because I would give it a chance that I'd never would before, just because people were there to explain things to me.
Right.
So I completely fell in love with, like, Japanese wrestling and Minoru Suzuki, and it just rekindled my love for all of this stuff. And now it's getting to the point where, like, I got back into shape, and I just did all these things. And now I'm getting into these matches and situations now where people are finally starting to learn about me a little bit. And it's like, in a weird way, you hear that old theory. It's just like an overnight sensation, but it was 20 years and an overnight. You know what I mean?
Wow. Sure. 20 years leading to the overnight success, so to speak.
Yeah, and I don't even know if what you call what I'm doing right now a success or not. Like I know it's certainly new for me. Like I've never been that kind of guy that gets support from fans and stuff like that. And like recently, like it has been overwhelming. Like, and I'm an emotional dude. Like I'm really like I like that stuff means a lot to me. So it's been a weird few months for me, but a great few months.
Any, I asked this very selfishly, but any plans to come back to IWS anytime soon?
Yes.
Excellent. This is you can say no more kind of situation, I imagine.
I mean, I think I can say I mean, I don't think anything's announced, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that I think it's safe to say that you'll see me again soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like, Andrew has been talking to you, like singing your praises over on Twitter, Shane Hawk, that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, he's another guy like that. I'd only really heard about him, and I'd never really met him before until the summertime when me and my crew went down to the IWS gym and we did that IWS kind of spot shows, like a sort of like a student show. But then I ended up in a 6-man tag with where it was me and like my crew, like Kobe Durst and Crystal Moon against Speedball, Shane Hawk, and Kristara. And it was not only was that the first time I met him, but then I got to wrestle him and like getting to work with him. I was like, oh my God, this guy is the shit. Like, I love this guy. Like this.
Yeah.
How have I never heard of this guy? And me and Shane Hawk had this weird, like, how the fuck have we never heard of one another? And like, we just, it's been a really, like, I've got such a great relationship with that whole crew, and getting a chance to be around them as often as I have been, especially over the last few months. Oh my God, man. Like it's hilarious because the Alex Mays, he on Twitter there not too long ago, he was just like, you basically become our Uncle Ben. And I was just like, that's hilarious. Just because I genuinely, I love those kids. And I mean, I look out for them as much as I can, you know what I mean? And I think that they've got such a great thing going on down there, and any opportunity that I can get back down there, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Right on. Dude, IWS is the kind of promotion I could spend a whole podcast talking to you about. So before we put that topic to rest and move on to, I got some other stuff I really want to talk to you about. I do want to cycle back to Speedball Bailey because I had him on the podcast days before he had the match with you. This is what he had to say going into the match. And yeah, buddy, we're about halfway through this match. Who do you like? Who do you think's gonna pick up the win here?
Speedball Mark Bailey.
We shall see.
But speaking of indoor venues, tell us they're doing full capacity at IWS this coming weekend. Main event Mike, you're taking on Ben Ortmanns. How you feeling going into this?
It's a big one again. I think it's only a small group of people on the internet that understand just how meaningful this match is. Ben and I have been keeping each other company during the pandemic. We've both been working together on Twitch. I met Ben several years ago at a show, and we clearly realized, this was a big one.
He went he went low, but you were going low as well.
He went low, but I was going low, so his head met my heel.
I forgot about that when I selected this match, but I remember gasping in the audience.
I remembered it. I don't think poor Ben here remembers it though.
Obviously, our conversation got a little sidetracked there after that big move at poor Big Ben's expense. But I'm wondering if you would care to finish Speedball's thought. He was speaking about your history before going into this match, which you of course covered at length on the blog as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because I knew exactly where he was going with that, because we met each other randomly on this show in Toronto. And that we were both wrestling on, and it was just one of those situations where it was like, how the hell have we never met each other until now, kind of thing. And it was one of those deals
where have that with a lot of people.
Yeah, and I remember walking over to him, and I was just like, Speedball Mike Bailey, and he's just like, hello. I'm like, I'm Ben Ortmanns. And he's just like, oh, it's nice to meet you, Ben. I was just like, I have heard that you were a very hard kicker, and one of these days I would love to kick you as hard as I possibly can, and vice versa. And he just says, that sounds like a lot of fun. Let's do that one day. And I was just like, all right, sounds cool. I like this guy, man. And then next thing I know, we just kind of started shooting the shit. And then I was like, hey, I don't know what you're up to tomorrow, but like, I've got a show that I'm doing tomorrow. And it was like my second or third show that I crossbody had ever done at this point. So I was just like, if you want to roll by, you're more than welcome. And he's just like, well, can I wrestle my dudes that I rolled down here with? And I was just like, yeah, why not? Work something out really quickly. And he came down and fucking killed it for me. And like out of nowhere, like I completely out of nowhere. And it was awesome just because Kitchener was very used to one particular style of wrestling because there was only really one company that worked that area. And they were very not like, they were very like 80s style, like lazy wrestling, if that makes sense.
Sure. Maybe
so
a little dated, so to speak.
Correct. That's a great word for it. Yes. So when I started Crossbody, I knew that I kind of had to try to rewire the audience because the product that I wanted to present was going to be kind of like super indie, but storytelling and like way different than what they were used to. Just like, so how do I rewire them? And then I was like, I need somebody to kind of come in here and just blow their brains completely out of the water, like be so far from what they're used to seeing that like they're just like, what the fuck is like, where it doesn't even allow them to process it because, and I was just like, he's perfect. So like he came down and he did that, and I was just like, oh man, he helped make my company. And then he came down and then like a little bit later and like did a match for me where it was him versus Alessandro Del Bruno versus Tyler Thomas. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but if not, it's on the Crossbody Pro Wrestling Academy YouTube page. Go out of your way to watch it. You can like, you have to almost watch it twice to understand why I'm saying this, but that match made our company, and it was the match that turned everybody in the audience finally. And like, they're just like, okay, I fully don't understand what the fuck I'm seeing, but this is fucking sweet and I'm in. Let's fucking go. And you could see them finally give in. You know what I mean? Like, it's incredible. Like, so I owe that guy a lot. And then, you know, over the pandemic, as he was mentioning, like we just kind of kept each other company because our vices got taken away from us. And him and I always just bonded. Like we always kind of saw wrestling the same way. But again, I was kind of getting into more of the managerial promotional side once we kind of started our friendship there. But then once the pandemic started, like he was just like kind of really pushing me. He's like, hey, let me see some of your matches because I've not really seen a lot of your stuff, but we've been friends for so long. And then he was just like, you're so much better than what you present yourself as. And he just broke me down. And like and I was just like, in a way that it was so nice of him to do because the pandemic was there and I got to take myself away from being in a teaching role at Crossbody Pro Wrestling Academy. So it was the first time in like years that I just got to just completely let my guard down and be a student again. And, you know, I knew that this guy saw wrestling very similar to me, but he was just such a well-spoken, intelligent individual and has been a lot more places than me, even though he's younger in the business than me. And I'm just like, he's my buddy. Why the fuck wouldn't I take this advice? Like, let's go. And he would just send me links and be like, you need to watch this guy and you need to try to incorporate this stuff and all of these other things. So, you know, the animal that you, I guess, see before you is in a weird way of very much a speedball creation. There was actually, I don't want to get too like, you know, inside baseball here and just in regards to this one situation, but there has been a situation that I found myself after a match that I was in. It was a multi-man match, one of the numerous multi-man matches that I've been in since I've gotten back from the pandemic. And one of the participants did not appreciate my new style and approach to pro wrestling, and made it very clear to the promoters. And I guess there was like this big powwow, and I guess literally they were just like, well, what do we do? And then everybody, they came to the realization, they're just like, oh, speedball. And then they're like, oh yeah, speedball. And then they just see everybody's like, oh, speedball did this. And they're just like, and we can't get mad at speedball. And I was like, holy shit, I think I got a speedball pass. This is so weird. Okay.
Sitting under the learning tree has granted you some immunity.
And I guess in a weird way, it kind of did. But then I guess, hopefully the more people that see the match that him and I did, I hope will grant me more immunity, because then they're going to see that it's certainly not it's not just a me wanting to give situation. I'm more than happy to take.
Right on. Again, like the match itself, it was amazing to see, and it's definitely one that I really hope people check out. I understand, like again, I think you mentioned something when you visited us on Twitch just the other over the weekend. You sat down and had a watch along of the match with Bailey.
So we wanted to do it last week, but okay. Our schedules just have not been clashing, and like he's also he finished his loop of Montreal last weekend, and then basically got a day or two to relax with Veda, and then got on an airplane and flew to England. And like we were gonna try to stream today, but then I messaged him this morning and I was just like, are you even gonna be home in time? He's like, no, I'll be in. He's like, my plane doesn't leave Toronto until like so-and-so time. And so he didn't even get home. Like he might just be getting home now. So the plan is that I guess by the time everybody watches this, you will have it will have happened, because we are going to be doing it Tuesday. What's the date? Tuesday, November the 23rd. Even though you're watching this on Thursday, November the 25th.
A message to the future.
Wink. So go back on my Twitch page and watch the watch along, and watch ourselves kick the shit out of ourselves.
I am very much looking to listen to your expert analysis of your own match along with Bailey. I think it's going to be a great stream to take part of. And again, if you're joining us and only catching this podcast on Thursday, head back, check out this stream. It's sure to be great. The match itself is fantastic, and I vouch in advance for the stream that will result out of it. Now, you talked about Crossbody Pro Wrestling Academy. I want to cycle back to that because you have a big show coming up this Friday, tomorrow. By the time this podcast airs, you're going to be raising money for the family of Scotty O'Shea. What's really cool is like you've sold out tickets before you even announced a match, which just really speaks to the volume of support that Scotty O'Shea has right now. Just wanted to afford you the platform to speak your piece about the event.
Well, first of all, thank you, and second of all, this is going to be. Like this week has just been wild, because for those who don't know, this is the very first show that we're doing out of our new venue, and as I sit here and talk to you, we haven't moved into our new venue yet. So like there's going to be a lot of work going into this week over the next couple of days, getting ready for all of this stuff. But it's so exciting just because the reaction to this show has been unbelievably overwhelming. I capped the tickets off at 100 for numerous reasons, just because it's our first show back. It's a new venue, so I want to make sure that everybody's accommodated comfortably, because we don't know until everything is set up, right? So and then at the same time too, I also want to make sure that everybody feels 100% safe coming back to our shows, especially for the first time back. What I didn't expect was there to be such an overwhelming demand for tickets. I didn't think that we were gonna sell out. Showcase series shows, I think the largest one we've ever had was maybe 58 people. So the fact that my problem has been that I'm trying to figure out, because there's been people that have bought tickets that have said straight up that they're unvaccinated, but they just wanted to help the show and help Hacker and whatever. So it kind of affords tickets available to, like, it's weird. So like, that's my problem, is trying to squeeze people in there, but still making sure that like we're raising as much money as we can to get that over to, you know, our buddy and his family. So that's very cool. And the Showcase Series show is something that we traditionally usually only advertise one match, like at the absolute most. You know, they're designed for younger guys, but wrestlers of all years experience to come down and, you know, get some experience. And like, you know, if you haven't been working a whole lot and you need to get some reps in, come get some reps in. If you're looking to try some new stuff, come try some new stuff. If you just love the goddamn game and you just want to give back and you want to still be seen, because a lot of people would go back and watch these shows on YouTube the following day. And, you know, and now I'm trying something a little bit different where I'm hoping to God nothing happens, but and maybe, I don't know if that's a weird thing to say because our new facility is in a church, so maybe I shouldn't be wishing anything to God, because I don't know. But they provided us with our own Wi-Fi there, so I'm hoping that our signal holds up to provide a good enough live stream for everybody. It's going to be very, very. It's a nerve-wracking week because I just want everything to go well. You know what I mean? Because again, the fact that we've sold out without announcing a single match, a single talent on the card it didn't even dawn on me until you tweeted that to me this morning, when I was just like, holy shit. Wow. Good call. Like I was blown away by that. I just genuinely hadn't taken that into consideration, but I know what the card is. And that always makes me happy, just because I know that we've got a card that I believe will be that will make people happy. And I think that it will keep people's interest. I think that the beauty of surprise shows are the best. Like we did 31 of them, I believe, 31 Showcase Series shows, where, you know, the more that we went on, the more you start to realize that surprise shows are so much fun. Cause like, imagine just being a wrestling fan. You were paying at the time $5, but now going forward, it's $10 because, you know, life happens and shit happens, right? But you pay a couple of bucks to go down, and you know you're just expecting to see some young guys who you know are going to go out there and try hard, because thankfully we've built a reputation where we're not just going to send out, you know, garbage people. So you're just sitting there knowing that you're going to get a fun, like 90 minutes of wrestling, but don't have the slightest clue who's about to walk through that curtain. So then you see somebody walk through that curtain, you're just like, oh, sweet. And you're just like, wait, who's he wrestling? Oh, cool. They're there. Oh, wait. Oh, I never took this. Oh, this will be fun. And like, you don't even get the opportunity to process like, oh, well, maybe this will happen. Maybe this will happen. Because it's all just happening before your eyes. It's like, it's the closest thing to magic that you could possibly have. Like, it's amazing. And I'm so excited for this Friday. And for those who aren't able to be there, I am attempting to air this live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BigBenIsAngry. I hope to God that the feed is satisfactory, but we are starting the show at 8 p.m. We might be starting a little bit earlier because we might do a pre-show. I'm not 100% sure, but at the moment, everything's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And make sure you're watching. It's going to be a lot of fun. There is some really great young talent lined up for this card. It's not just Crossbody helping put this card on. It's Barry Wrestling and C4 Wrestling out of Ottawa. What does that mean exactly? You have to find out.
That certainly makes me wonder, and very interested to check it out. And it's all for a great cause. So, like, again, kudos to you guys for putting this together for Hacker O'Shea and the Sturrock family. Really awesome cause. But let's talk about your Twitch channel, because you don't just do wrestling shows. You got a whole, you got a really interesting cross sections of programming. Of course, like you got like your wrestling watch alongs. You got Wrestlers Talking Football, WTF, very clever name. Elevator pitch in your own words, because I can only do it so much justice. Tell me about your Twitch channel.
My Twitch channel is, again, it's the thing that completely saved my sanity, and it completely saved my love for the thing that I've loved since the day that I was born, pretty much. It's a great time. We a lot of the times just watch a lot of wrestling, a lot of Japanese wrestling. I watch a lot of Joshi wrestling because my community loves Joshi wrestling. They love to give me matches where the names are very difficult to pronounce because they get a kick out of me trying my damnedest to pronounce them and failing miserably every time. But
that resonates. That resonates.
But I again, I'm biased, but my streams are so much fun, and I don't, and it's certainly not me. Maybe it is, I don't know, but maybe hopefully I'm entertaining. But between the chat, the matches, the education, and just like everything in general, like I love and I look so forward to getting onto my Twitch to stream, just because my community is like just unbelievable. Like everybody knows one another. Everybody just seems to pop in like for like every freaking stream. I'm nowhere near like a big streamer by any regards, but again, for me, this whole having an audience thing is like for myself as opposed to like for my company is just very new for me. So it's a really great community of supporters, and not just that, the WTF show, for those who are football fans. I don't know if you've ever watched it there, Zach, but
I'm afraid that's one that I didn't quite peek onto because football's not my thing, but you had some like really awesome guests on that, must say.
Yeah, it turned into like one of these situations where me and Tid and my buddy Luke, HHV, we wanted to like have a different like wrestler on every week, and we were getting there. Like we had like my buddy Madman Fulton on there, and we had like a couple other like local independent guys and stuff like that from here and there. But then like an old buddy of ours, like who's an Ontario independent wrestling like legend, Magnus Von Steel, just like appeared out of nowhere. Like he just kind of found social media finally, like a bear, you know what I mean? And then you know, we just kind of caught up, and then he just would pop into all of my streams and like all of the football ones, and he would like bust balls like old times, and then it just he kind of worked his way in, and now it's kind of like the four of us, and like we don't even really bring guests on anymore. It's hilarious just because Magnus and Luke just like they fucking like bust each other's balls so hard. Like it's so great. And it's fun just because it's like four dumb knuckleheads who just like, you know, just love football, but we all are we're dumb wrestlers. So we love football, but we also love just making each other look like dickheads. So if you enjoy camaraderie, friendship, football, and like basically football being spoken through wrestling jargon, the WTF show is your show. We do that every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The important distinction, you know, with a strong community like that you're building on Twitch and like these dynamic programs, must have been like just a no-brainer to put twitch.tv/BigBenIsAngry on your wrestling gear.
So it's funny you say that, because the reason why I did that, it's funny because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, that's actually very clever to advertise your Twitch channel on your gear. And I was like, it wasn't actually, I mean, you're not wrong. Like yes, that is true. However, that wasn't actually the intention. The intention was to pay homage to the people that made me fall in love with wrestling again. And that was for my community. And that was kind of to represent that. And then it dawned on me, it's like, well, yeah, I guess it is kind of an advertisement as well. So that's why it was very important to me. I was like, well, what can I add to my gear on top of that only my Twitch community would know? So that's why there's the letters BBE right on the front of my gear. And I've had a lot of people ask me what that means. And I always tell them that if you want to know, you can feel free to watch my Twitch channel, but it's a Ron Funches exclusive, and it's something for us. You know what I mean? Because not everything has to be for everybody. Yeah, there can be some things that when like. Because like kind of, at the same time too, like how neat is that? That like let's just say you're my buddy DJ and in California, for example, right? Like let's just say all of a sudden he watches me and Speedball on the Fight Network that eventually will air, and he watches that on his TV, and he just sees like these two dudes who like he's in each Twitch community, but then sees on the gear like, oh, that's for me. Like, that's for like me and 8 people. Like, how cool is that? And I've never met this dude. I don't know what he looks like. If he was 2 feet in front of me and was just like, hey, it's DJ, I'd be like, DJ who? And you know what I mean? I'd have to like put that together. But at the same time, there's some random ass strangers from all over the world have just made me feel whole again. If as weird as that fucking sounds to say that, and just thinking about it, that sounds so strange, but it's very, very true. I wish that like there was some way that I could have like a Christmas dinner or something like with my like Twitch people, just because like they genuinely mean that much to me.
That's very sweet. That it's interesting that this whole like Twitch communities and online, well, again, being redundant, but communities that you're building and other Twitch users are building, there's like this degree of anonymity, but also like this very concrete, tangible sense of camaraderie.
Yeah, it's wild. Like when I heard that Adam Cole, like one of the huge like sticking points to his like contract negotiation was that Twitch was it was kind of a make or break. I 1000% understood that. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's so that way you can get that Twitch money. I was just like, you don't understand what that does to in here. Like, because there's those people are genuine. Like, you want to talk about genuine fans and supporters? That's them. Like like he from what I understand, like he knows his Twitch community by first name. Like, and that's wild to me because he has a much larger community than me, and I don't even know everybody's first name and mine. And that's crazy. Like, but I completely understand because again, like there's just something about people going out of their way to try to lift you up during like what they might not even know might be like a really hard time. Cause like, I mean, not every day is fucking rainbows and sunshine. You know what I mean? Like some days are very, very tough to get through. And those are the days where you kind of look forward to going to your Twitch community. Cause you're just like, man, it's like this weird kind of escape to see like my friends who I don't even really know who they are, but goddamn, do they make me feel like better, and that's the great thing. And as a wrestler, one of the biggest things that you want is to be relatable, and so that way people can like give a shit about you. And like, what better way to be relatable and to just make friends with people, like and to enjoy what we all love together as fans. I think that's really cool.
That's very well said. And again, it's very interesting seeing you being like this very personable fellow here on streams and podcasts. And Big Ben in the ring is a very different kind of guy in my own limited experiences to your work. Oh, pardon me.
Well, in a weird way, that's why I love being in the ring so much, is because I guess, the Big Ben is angry thing kind of started as a joke, but I mean, the reason why it was a joke for me, it was because I guess I at one point in time had like a really bad resting bitch face because everybody, it didn't matter how good of a mood, like I could be in the best mood and people would still be like, "Are you pissed off?" And I'm like, "No." And I just got so tired of like people asking. I just made it a joke on myself, which is why I made that the way that it was. So like, you know, clearly I had anger issues. The great thing about time and aging is the gift of maturity if you have good people around you. And thankfully, you know, especially over the last few years, I've been very, very blessed to have some incredible people around me that have been genuinely looking out for me. And, you know, during that time, and it's a really much allowed me to be able to separate, you know, real life and being able to compartmentalize where those like, you know, bursts of anger need to be, I guess, spewed. You know, like that's why I love going to the gym so much, because like today, for example, I got home from work and didn't want to move a muscle, Zach. Like I genuinely just felt like death. I didn't want to do nothing. And I sat here for like an hour, which I don't normally do. And I was just like trying to pump myself up to do something. And I finally got the courage and to just put my fucking shoes on and go next door to the gym. And next thing I know, I went from thinking that, man, I can't do anything tonight to just get your ass on the treadmill. And then 5 miles later, I'm just like, it is wild how like you could just feel like death. And then just all you got to do is just get your fucking foot through the door. Like that's the hardest part. It's just getting your foot through the door most of the times. And then because you know that once you're there, you're doing something. And next thing I know, 5 miles later, I had a really great workout and like got to almost like meditate, because like I've got this great music going in through my head, like, you know, and like moods are a real thing. And like, it's like, I don't know. I can't explain it, but I just have learned where to push all of that negative energy and turn it into positive energy. And, you know, that's why I love being in the ring so much against guys like Speedball and guys like that who will hit me just as hard as I want to hit them, because, you know, as much as I love the art of pro wrestling, you know, apparently I've got some shit I got to work out still. So the being able to go in there and beat the fuck out of friends legally and make a paycheck out of the deal is apparently my way of being able to compartmentalize that. And it's a great way to do it.
Big Ben Ortmanns, thank you so much for sharing all that with us. Thank you for telling us all about the Twitch channel and the important event that you're having this Friday with Crossbody Pro Wrestling Academy. Before I let you go, please take the time to let the audience know where to follow you on social media and all the important links thereafter.
First of all, thank you so much for having me, man. I love everything that Love Wrestling is about. I love your entire crew. I got to have lunch with Spencer in Edmonton in the summertime, and he is just genuinely one of my favorite human beings. Like I love everything about you guys. So this is my first time being on the actual show. So thank you for being the first one to invite me. Actually, what the fuck, hey. Spencer? Come on now.
Gonna clip this and send it right to him after this recording.
Put him over, and it's just like, wait a sec, this is my first invite. God damn it, Spencer.
Well, it will be the first of many. We're gonna find time to get Ben back on Love Wrestling content very soon.
Anytime, man. Like I said, I love you guys. Even though I'm still waiting for my mugs, I still love you guys. But please go find me on Twitch. That's where you can find all of these incredible Watch Wrestling streams with this really great community that I've told you guys about. It's where we're going to be airing the show on Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Showcase for the Sturox. It's the first showcase series back that Crossbody Pro Wrestling is doing. We'll also be doing one the following Friday, where we're going to be doing where all the proceeds we're going to be going to our friend Danhausen. And then we're going to be airing that live on Twitch as well, provided that everything goes well. And then we'll also be doing the same thing on December the 17th, where we will be donating all of the proceeds from that show to the Cambridge Humane Society, because we got to help out our furry friends at this time of year, because they need to eat and they need blankets and they need toys and they need to be kept warm. And we got to do our part to help them as well, because we're just big animal lovers down at Crossbody. So, our first couple of shows back, we're basically just doing for all of people in need that genuinely need it, and who mean a lot to all of us in our heart. So please feel free to support that, and please feel free to go and give me a follow. Big Ben is Angry, and Crossbody Studios that is reopening this week, and Crossbody Pro Wrestling Academy is still at the old the name at CBPW Academy. Go give all that a follow as well, please.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you.
Once again, that was my conversation with Big Ben Ortmanns, talking wrestling, talking Twitch, and talking community. Speaking of community, continued kudos to CBPW Academy for their fine work benefiting the wrestling community and the community in their area. I believe I speak for the entire Love Wrestling team when I just want to send my thoughts to the Sturrock family in this very difficult time. If you like what you heard today, please head over please follow us on social media. On Twitter, we're at Smark and Friends. You can follow my personal account at SmarkMouth, and on Instagram, it's Smark.mouth. You can also follow at Love Wrestling CA on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok. If you really like what you heard, head on over to ratethispodcast.com/LoveWrestlingCA. You're not just going to be rating this show, you're going to be rating all the fine work being done very proudly here at Love Wrestling CA. And once again, please head over to Ben's Twitch channel. That's, of course, twitch.tv/BigBenIsAngry. Tune in tomorrow. Tune in Friday to watch this fundraising showcase benefiting Hacker Scotty O'Shea. You know I will. I hope you'll join us. And thanks for listening. We're going to be back next week. Till then, friends.